Hey, what's up? My name is Kevin and I'm the Helpful Hero, here to help you leverage the awesome power that is HubSpot. Now, in last week's theme update video, I mentioned that I'm starting to redo some of the older Clean Pro modules that are super popular and re-release them as brand new modules in the theme. And that is exactly what we are doing here. And I'm excited to release a brand new module that is by far one of the more popular ones to use that I get a lot of questions on. And well, I've made some really cool improvements that I'm excited to share with you. So let's go ahead and jump straight into HubSpot. And before we get into the fun stuff, I want to let you know that the Happy Center kit is now available. So if you're looking to build a resource center or a knowledge base, much like my very own Happy Center, you can now go ahead and check out my Happy Center kit. It gives you all of the working components to make use of HubDB and that really cool feature in HubSpot. So you can off the shelf build your own knowledge base, case studies library, download library, whatever you want to do without having to go through the complexity of building a custom solution. Okay, enough of my soft sales pitch. Let's move on to the fun stuff. The new module that we're talking about in version 104 is none other than the card flipper module, which you can see here. Now, obviously, as we flip this cards around, you're already used to a module very much like this. It's definitely been one of the more popular modules, but I want to show you what I've done to make it even better and remove a little bit of the friction that usually people email me about and ask about, which is typically the height of these things. At any rate, let me show you what's going on. So if we go into the module right here, now what you're gonna be able to do is, again, easily set how many columns you want of these cards right here. And then of course you can already click whether or not you wanted to do its flip magic on click or hover. So that largely stays the same. But where this gets cool is now you can actually use a repeater field, meaning you can literally create a bunch of these cards up and down the page as opposed to the limit of just 4 in a given row. So this is much more like the Versa Cards module, which is again, one of my more favorite modules. So now, as we go into the flip card itself, you're gonna have full control over the front of the card. Obviously, this is a rich text editor. You can do whatever you want in here, right? Add some text, add an image, add some buttons, whatever you want is gonna derive the front of the card. Then, same thing goes for the back, right? Here is some text. I mean, that's nothing super magical, but let me show you what is. So now what you can do is go into the Styles tab and you can go ahead and style these cards from a global standpoint. So now you can see you can go into the back of the card. Of course, you can select a color for the specific card. So maybe we'll go with just this gray so we can see it. You can easily control the vertical alignment, like where this shows up. So for example, maybe we want this anchored at the bottom. You have more control over that. The little icon that shows up, you can control that. You can add a border, right? So let's just make this, let's give this a black border. Let's just bump this up to 2. Maybe you want to add some rounded corners, which is super popular. Let's add some rounded corners. And then you can come in and adjust the inner spacing of the card if you want to like clear up or, you know, create a little bit more space here. Of course, if you want to add a drop shadow, man, we got drop shadows for you. Or maybe, you know, you're a little against drop shadows. We're just gonna turn that drop shadow off. And now we got no drop shadows because we're no fun. Let's be fun. Let's add some drop shadows back on. All right, we're back in business. So you have full control over the style of not only the front of the card, but then the same thing is gonna go for the back of the card. So if you want to make this different, you definitely have the option to do so here with much of the very same options. Now, where it gets even cooler is where you can go in and style an individual card specifically. So maybe we want this middle card to kind of like jump out from the pack. You can actually go into the content of the card, find the card that you want to add maybe a custom look for, right? And you can control that on the front and the back of the card. So you got the custom card styles here. You can go into the style settings, and here you can actually either add maybe an image or a gradient. Let's try an image. Let's just see what we can spin up with a little image here. So we'll find let's just do this little surfer image, apply those changes. So now we got our little surfer guy on there. Of course, we can go in and change this to white text. But then you can come down here and change things specific to the card. So maybe we want to give this a little orange, and we need to make that little icon color white. So we can go ahead and change that. And for good measure, let's just bring this completely home and make that white text. And well, that orange border looks a little ugly, but that's all right. I'm just showing you what's going on. At any rate, you have a brand new card flipper module that you can start to utilize in the Clean Pro theme. Now, when you do update the theme, you will likely notice that you now have 2 card flipper modules that are available when you search for them. So in order to recognize which is going to be the newest one, you can just search card. You're gonna see card flippers right here, and then just look for the one that says new right now, and you can just drag that into the page. The other one will probably say Pro. In a later tutorial, I'll show you how you can either remove that so it's not in your way any longer, but this is the one that you are looking for. Now, there's a couple other small updates that I've made to a few of the other modules, which I'll note in the release notes, but this was the one that I was excited about. And I've got many more in store in the coming weeks. All right, it's a quick video, in and out. Hope you're having a great day. Thank you again for all of the fantastic feedback. I appreciate you, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.